Hey beautiful people, welcome to my channel. My name is Ariel Campbell and I'm a mentor teacher and a second grade teacher here in Las Vegas, Nevada. In today's video, I will teach you 7 core skills necessary for new teachers that will help you build your confidence in becoming a highly effective teacher and get your students from this to this and get even special loving notes like this. So first off, let me tell you that I'm not a perfect teacher. I am not a perfect teacher, and no one is. That's a fact. But I've invested a lot of time and research into learning the best teaching practices to increase academic success and personal excellence in my classroom. These are core skills that I have learned over the years as a second grade teacher, a kindergarten teacher, and a special education teacher in the elementary resource room, which can definitely be applied to a middle and high school teacher as well. So my first teacher core skills, number 1, is to take care of yourself. It is so important that you indulge in self-care activities every day after school. Not every day, at least 6 times a week, y'all. Please make sure that you do your best when you show up to your students. You want to show up to them in your best self, because if you don't show up to teach your students in your best self, you will not teach your best, you know? So self-care activities can be taking a nap, playing with your dog or cat, reading a book, riding a bike, working out, dancing, and even binge watching your favorite TV show. Because after a long day of teaching, you are going to need the mental break from teaching a full classroom of, let's say, 10 to 30 students for about 7 to 8 hours. So I highly recommend you take care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally.
Clothes, treat yourself. Fragrances, treat yourself. Massages, treat yourself. Mimosas, treat yourself. Fine leather goods.
Find that self-care activity and do it now. Start now, make it a habit, make it a lifestyle. That's number 1. My second teacher's core skill is creating a positive, culturally responsive environment with enthusiasm and respect. As you see, I'm like very on high energy, and that's the energy that you need to exude in your classroom. A school environment focused on love, respect, and kindness will allow your students to feel safe and valued. During COVID and even before COVID, many children have faced emotional traumatic experiences, so it's super important to create that positive and healing and centered environment, because school sometimes is the safest place where they can eat food, where they can learn, and where they can socialize with others. So they will respect you more when they see that you respect and value them. So play some music when students are entering the classroom, greet every child by their name, shake their hands. Well, not shake their hands because, but if that time ever comes, you can do a little social distance elbow tap, dancing in your air dance, air high five, do whatever you like to greet them with a smile and say their first and last name or their first name. Have classroom chant.
Let's go, Howard. Let's go, Howard. Let's go, Howard. Let's go. All right.
Show that you believe in your students by having empathy for what they're going through and on in their personal life, and actually connect with them on a real human personal level. Ask them about their life. What's going on? How's their weekend? Let students know about your life too, like your new dog or your new wedding, right? This is a career where you teach students and you place students at the center of learning. So this isn't about a paycheck, and it's not about like, oh, this is just my 9 to 5. No, this is about students and helping them become culturally responsive leaders of the world. And so if this is not what your mindset is, you're in the wrong field. We are educating the whole child, so we must encourage and support them. We must love on our children, and we must empower everyone's culture in the classroom by having lessons that relate to your students. Affirming students' cultures and identities in the classroom in your lesson is a great way to build that positive relationship with students and their families. It's okay if you do not share that same culture with your student. You just need to show them that you care and understand their culture by putting it into the lesson and celebrating it. Okay, so that's number 2. My third teacher's core skill is implementing an equitable classroom management system and learning how to remain calm in stressful situations. It's going to be tough, but you got to do it. You got to do it. It's so important for you to just expect brilliance in all your children. See the positive light, motivate your students, be tolerant of others. And also, this is a diverse society we're living in, so they need to be tolerant of other cultures, of other races, you know? So it's important for you to set up procedures and rules in your classroom about respect, about respect during the first week of school, and even explicitly giving like clear directions, responding to behavior quickly within like 10 to 20 seconds. As soon as you see it, respond to that in a positive way. You don't have to reprimand every behavior with a negative consequence. You can do positive consequences. And I will talk about that in my next video about classroom management. But it's super important that you're consistently reinforcing these rules, remaining calm, and do not go back and forth with your students. When you are setting up an equitable classroom system, you can use apps like Class Dojo, Teacher Kit, or even like I have this little totem stick that I use as well. It has colors. It has gold, green, yellow, and red, and blue. Blue is for absent. Students all start on green. If they're doing wonderful, they go up to gold. If they're not doing that so good, I say, this is your warning. This is your warning, your warning. And then if they do it again, then I put them down to yellow. And eventually I say, oh, I see you doing something good. I put them back up to green. I'm always looking for the positive in the students, and I'm not looking at the negative. So it's important for you to look at the positive, track good behavior, and you can also track not so good behavior so you can talk to parents about that. Implementing equitable classroom management is difficult at first, but it gets easier, y'all. Trust me. It gets easier a little bit, okay? But it gets easier depending on how long you've been teaching, and how much, fully engaged you are into creating that positive classroom environment. So try your best to follow through with your consequences. Remain calm, positive when reinforcing these rules and consequences. This goes back to your self-care, because if your mental health is not good, you will be less angry. If you take care of your mental health, you'll be less angry and you'll be more calm, right? So you need to have equitable rules, consequences, and rewards, because the students need to respect you first as an adult before they see you as your friend, like how a child respects their parent. So if you yell, you show favoritism, you will stress yourself out. You will stress the students out. They will not respect you. And students do not listen to teachers they don't respect. They won't learn from teachers they don't respect. And if they see you showing favoritism to one student and giving consequence to one student and not giving consequence to another, then they will lose respect, because they will see that you are not a good, equitable teacher, right? So keep calm and understand that it is okay for students to speak out without raising their hand. Get up out of their seat, not have a pencil or a pen for class, without you yelling, without you calling the principal, and without you taking away an incentive right away. It's not the end of the world. Stay calm. It's super ridiculous, and it does not make any sense to me when teachers are expelling or suspending students for petty little things that they could have handled in the classroom. Most of the students, especially Black boys, are removed from class, sent to in-school suspension, or worse, removed from school for the same infractions that their white peers were not penalized for. So you need to show equity in your classroom and create that positive, welcoming environment where there is no favoritism, that every student is treated respectfully, and every rule and procedures and consequences are fully enforced. That's my third teacher core skill, right? My fourth teacher core skill is getting creative and using your imagination with visual aids. Approximately 65% of the population are visual learners. I'm a visual learner, so it's likely you'll have several students who are visual learners in your group, because I know myself, I'm a visual learner and I learn best with visual representation. So you can get free visual aids from Teachers Pay Teachers, or you can get creative and make your own visual anchor charts and just put them around the classroom, showing the schedules, social distance greetings, rules, procedures, positive encouraging words, and hand signals. Hand signals are really great for less interruption and more learning, because a student will put up 3 fingers while you're teaching a lesson. They put up their 3 fingers, and you see their 3 fingers, you give them a thumbs up, and then you continue with the instruction without interrupting it. And it has a nice, smooth flow. right? And visual aids are always great to reinforce the concepts that you're teaching in your lesson, because students really remember pictures. They remember pictures more than a long passage in a textbook. You can use visual aids in math to show 3D shapes, visual aids for writing, and even visual aids for new vocabulary words. These visual aids will be placed around the classroom as a reference for when you are reviewing content, and it will allow the students to look around to help them solve a problem or to answer a question, right? We're here to help our kiddos, so give them as much help as they need to be independent, critical thinkers. That is number 4. Number 5, my 5th teacher core skill is instructional techniques centered on student leadership. Having a student-led classroom where there is less teacher talk and more student talk, where they're engaging in dialogue, asking questions, showing curiosity, right? They want to learn and they are excited to learn. So in order to do that, you have to develop some things like teacher presence, teacher proximity, turn and talk, check for understanding, to name a few, right? So as a teacher, you will have to have confidence in teaching the content that you're teaching, and have confidence in leading a class of, say, 10 to 30 students. That's your teacher presence. You have confidence, right? You're knowledgeable about the content, and you are firm and respectful and positive, right? You will have to consistently walk around the classroom when you are teaching and when students are working independently. That's your teacher proximity. As a teacher, you should not be at the front of the classroom for the whole lesson. You should slowly walk around the school. You should slowly walk around the classroom looking to see that students are focused, not playing at their desk, and engaged in the lesson. Because let's face it, you can't see everything from the front of the classroom, so you need to walk around the classroom to visually see who looks engaged and who does not look engaged, who is answering questions and who is not. In that instance, if 90% of your students are disengaged, it's time for you to reset, stop talking, and do a little brain break, or even do a turn and talk where students are talking to each other about the lesson and they're doing a pair student activity, right? Less teacher talk, more student talk, so they are showing engagement. And as you teach, you will learn that not all 100% of your students will be fully engaged. There's a variety of students with learning disabilities. There are many different learning styles, such as like visual, auditory, verbal, kinesthetic, logical, and social, talkative learners, right? They like to talk. So that's why turn and talk is necessary. Some learners also learn better from their peers. So a buddy system and a student-led lessons are super important. And also, some students learn better in whole class instruction. Some students need that one-on-one, that small group instruction. So you may need to create, you will have to create a small group instruction block to see all students every day during small group time. And you may have to change, you will have to change up the seating throughout the year to pair up students based on their academic levels and their academic needs. That's number 5. Number 6, my 6th teacher core skill is lesson planning and preparation. You need to be organized. Go get your planner. Teacher planner. I got this from Lakeshore, but y'all, I also got this from Walgreens, my planner for the new year. Get your planner. Get your clipboard, get everything ready so that you are organized, okay? One of my mentor teacher also said that you can be as organized as you want, but remember, the lesson plan does not know your students, you know them. So plan according to your students' needs. As educators, we must do more than simply prepare students for mandated tests, but we must prepare students to be critical thinkers who ask questions. So preparing a template of your lesson a week in advance is great, but remember to edit the lesson a day in advance. Look over it a day in advance so that you're meeting the needs of all your students, at least 80 to 90% of your students' needs, because you can, again, meet the rest, the 10 to 20% in small group instruction. It's important to review the lesson because the lesson may not have gone good, because the lesson may not have gone as you planned. So if you prepare for your lesson the day before, based on the previous exit tickets or like formative assessments, you will see that students are struggling and then you need to reteach something. So like when I say that, I mean, if you taught lesson 2 on Monday and 80% of your students did not understand lesson 2 on Monday, they did not do well on their exit tickets or their formative assessments, they were struggling, then it's best you reteach that lesson 2 on Tuesday until 80% of your students understand the content. You have to review these lessons again before you begin to teach lesson 3. And that's okay, because students will have a learning loss returning back after COVID. And it's better for you to set your students up for success than have them repeat their mistakes and continue struggling. So it's super important. Prepare, get organized, have a planner, have your clipboard, be ready with all your lesson materials and lesson plans for that day. Sometimes you may have to, go to that copy room and print materials, but that's okay. Just don't make it a habit. Try your best to be as organized as you can and prepare in advance, because you will become less stressed, and the goal is to not become stressed, right? Self-care, number 1, is important. It's all about organization, balance, and having fun teaching your students. Now on to the last teacher core skill, number 7. It is collaboration and communication. It is super important for you to collaborate with your grade level team. Communicate with your grade level team. Communicate with your principal and ask for help. Do not try to do things all by yourself. When you're collaborating and you're talking with your grade level team, ask about their lessons and how they taught this lesson, if they faced any difficulties or if they faced any accomplishments. So it's super important that you talk with your grade level team at least twice a week so that you guys can, feed off of each other, because 2 brains is better than 1. And again, collaborate and communicate with parents and communicate with them about how their child is doing. The first week of school, you should start with positive things about their child. Send them out messages. You can send out newsletters. You can send out class announcements, personal text messages, emails, or even phone calls. And you can use this really, really cool parent-teacher communication app like ClassTag to do all of this. ClassTag is amazing, and I definitely highly recommend you go ahead and research that to see if you like it, because they give you rewards, prizes. You can do parent conferences all on there. So you've collaborated with your team, you collaborate with parents. You also need to collaborate and communicate with your students to foster a relationship with them so that they can learn, so you can learn about what they like and what they dislike. So you can have students complete an about me the first week of school and put it on the wall. So you as a teacher can always reference it and say, oh, my student likes that. I'm going to put that in the lesson, or I'm going to talk about that day to have some relationship with them. Have your students involved in different activities will allow them to show respect for you. That creates a bond with your students. So those are all my 7 tips. And I hope all of these were super, super helpful and not too overwhelming. Just take it all in, just breathe, okay? Replay this video and take notes if you need to, because you may not hit all these points every day, and that's perfectly okay. There is no perfect teacher. You just need to make sure that you tried your best and you showed up with 100% best attitude, because then if you did, then you did your job. Get excited, give yourself some grace, breathe, and celebrate the successes. No matter how small or little they are, you will do great, because you're doing a great thing by becoming a teacher and positively impacting the lives of students. So thank you again for watching. I'll see you soon. Have a safe and wonderfully blessed day.